Hello, and welcome back to Rainbows Rising, where we ascend together. I'm your host, Rainbow Raja, healer and life coach, and this month we're covering Earth. Our body is a representation of Earth. When we have illness, depression, imbalances, or disease, it is our body's way of communicating with us. Our body can tell us so much about our health, our history, and even our ancestry. Have you ever looked in the mirror and been able to notice features of your body that remind you of your parents or siblings, or maybe your aunts and uncles? Of course, these are biological features that were brought on by DNA and your family's genetics being passed down. But they are also keys to understanding your lineage's strengths, weaknesses, and even ancestral wounds. When a disease is passed down for generations, it is a product of an unhealed wound or trauma that has gone unnoticed for generations. Our bodies are intelligent, not because of our minds, but because they have the capacity to give us all the information we need to understand how to heal what ails them. When we assess these features, whether physical, like, I have my dad's crooked nose, or my mother's big doe eyes, or personality, I heavily sigh, like my father when I'm feeling pressured or rushed, or I pinch my nose like my grandmother when someone compliments me. These qualities can tell us of all the wounds that have been passed through our genetics. Physical attributes tell a story of how others viewed you or your ancestors and how you have come to accept that quality. Maybe a crooked nose might come from being told you were nosy or you were being too sensitive. Big doe eyes could come from being seen as innocent or weepy. These physical traits aren't something we as individuals usually have power over, but they are passed down from our parents and grandparents as qualities they took on and accepted about themselves. Birthmarks too. They can be used to show you gifts and qualities that you were born with. Our bodies are a map for us to track our past, present, and future. How can you begin to explore what your features and physical traits say about you? Well, I recommend making some basic notes on qualities or features you have always struggled to accept. Write them down on a piece of paper. What qualities do you have? What physical qualities? What personality traits? Now dig deeper. Ask yourself what these traits might symbolize. Let me give you an example. Believe it or not, growing up, my dad would tease me about being a motor mouth. Tell me I was too loud or I talked too much. He would make a big dramatic motion with his hands to imitate turning down the volume or mimic my mouth going on and on and on and on with his hand like a puppet. These gestures, although well-intended, made me feel really self-conscious about talking and about expressing myself. I didn't feel safe telling my parents much and worked for years to become an active listener. I would write down on my sheet, if I were doing this process right now, a negative quality is loud and talkative. I would dive deeper by asking myself, why did I feel the need to act that way? Well, at the time, I didn't feel like I had a choice, but I guess I felt I had a lot to say and a lot to share. Maybe my father was projecting his own belief in patriarchy and how men were intended to be the loud and outspoken ones. Maybe I'm doing all the speaking for generations of women in my family who felt they had no voice. The last thing you'll want to do is to sit with how you personally feel about this behavior and decide to either heal it or accept it. Now, I feel my voice has power, and I know from experience that people really value what I have to say. I have come to terms that I may just be louder and more outspoken than most people are comfortable with, and I have decided to embrace that quality in myself to help others, like you guys, by giving advice and sharing wisdom. Well, also by singing and writing to celebrate my voice through creation. Well, that was the best example I could give for myself. That was something that really troubled me for such a long time, and even still comes up every now and again as something someone will point out to me. And it could be so easy just to let that comment trigger me, make me clam up and want to just crawl into a hole. But I've done a lot of work on this, and I believe that my voice is powerful, and I believe that what I have to say is helping people. So I have vowed to myself to honor, respect, and celebrate my voice and my expression of self. So if you have a quality like maybe you don't like the way you sneeze, or maybe you get really shy around the people that you really want to make a good impression on, or whatever, just explore how those qualities affect you and share how you feel those qualities really feel inside of you. Do you like those qualities, or did someone make you not like those qualities about yourself? Like, you were kind of okay with that quality until that one person pointed it out. Go back to when you were younger if you have to, and just try and see the good in the qualities that you struggle to accept about yourself. And if it's something that you found that you didn't like and no one pointed it out, take some time and really ask yourself, like, what about that really bothered me? Like, what about this quality or this behavior really upsets me? Did I get in trouble because I did this behavior? Do I feel I have no control over this behavior? Just do a little investigative work. So we talked about personality traits, but what about the physical characteristics? Well, I have a physical example. My mom used to always say that I got her butt. In other words, I was well endowed with a very curvy figure. I grew up feeling really fat and unattractive because this quality was pointed out to me so many times. When I became a teenager, I got some very unwelcome attention over it, which did not improve my confidence, let me tell you. So I'm going to pull out my sheet of paper and I'm going to write down physical qualities. I'm going to write down big butt. Now, I'm going to dive deeper by asking, why did this feature upset me? I think I really didn't notice the feature until my mom had phrased it in such a way that made it sound like a bad thing. And over time I realized, it's not so bad. I can I can sit on a cold bench without feeling how cold the bench is, or I realize that I always have a comfy cushion no matter what I sit on. I could sit on the most uncomfortable, sharp-edged anything, and I've got a very comfortable seat. But I didn't like feeling fat, and I didn't like someone pointing it out to me, and I didn't really feel comfortable with the idea that people were looking at my butt, because it wasn't a representation of my personality or who I truly was. I felt that quality was distracting others from my potential, from my personality, from my humor, from my, the qualities that I really valued in myself. So now that I know why I didn't like that physical quality, I have to decide, am I going to change it or am I going to embrace it? Well, I've had this butt my whole life, so I think I'm going to embrace it. If only I could turn around and do so. Dun-dun-dun, right? So I'm going to embrace this quality because I know that there's a lot of women out there who are envious of it. I know that there's, probably men who find the quality attractive. I don't really care about them. But I was born with this figure, and it has never really done me any harm. It did serve its purpose, giving me easy births for both my children and amazing dance moves when the music is turned up on the dance floor, let me tell you. So I think I'm going to honor and embrace this quality. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to wear more flattering clothes to accentuate this feature. And I'm going to dance more and walk more, go on hikes, go do some activities that will get that feature moving. Because these are, for this particular feature, my butt, right? That's what it's made for. It's made to move me around. So I feel the best way to honor it is go skiing, go land on some cold snow so that it can feel the cold snow, so that I can go and climb a tree and sit on a branch so that my little butt cushion can enjoy the feeling of balancing itself on a branch. Those are strange ways to honor my physical feature of a butt. But if I consider the fact that those are the things my butt would probably want to do, so that's how I'm going to honor it. I hope you guys get where I'm coming from, because that's just what I'm going to do, all right? For those of you out there who are sitting there going, well, I have these features, but I don't really know what I'm supposed to do with them. Maybe you have a feature like a nose that is you just really don't like it, or maybe you break out a lot, or maybe you have a health problem, or whatever. Maybe it's something you can't change. Try to get creative with how you can honor your features and qualities to make them beautiful in your eyes, or to do that quality justice if it had its own mind, its own spirit, its own whatever. If it could speak, what would it want, right? I think that if we really interacted with our bodies and our souls in this way, that we could do a lot of healing. Just looking at the things we see as weaknesses or negative qualities and just trying to give them a voice and to give them respect. Because it's not like I can chop my butt off. You can't go chop, I'm done with you. No, when you're rejecting a piece of yourself, you're, you're literally telling yourself that you don't love yourself as a whole. And I feel like if it's something you want to change because you decide that, that's like totally fine. I've changed a lot of myself because I was like, I didn't realize I was hurting people when I did such and such a thing. So I'm going to change that quality about myself. But if it's something that's not causing anybody harm, like a big butt, and it just causes you grief because you don't like that, maybe find a way to honor and love it. So anyway, there are other ways to listen to your body. There are endless ways. But this is a strange way that I personally started to listen to my body when I was really young. And it has helped me monitor my moods and my overall health for probably 15, if not more, years. So when I was really, really young, I bit my fingernails. I was anxious all the time, and I constantly was biting my nails. And when I got a little older, I started to notice that I would grow out one or two nails, and the other ones would be bitten to a pulp. And then a couple weeks later, the other nails would grow out, the ones that had been bitten to a pulp, and then those other nails were bitten down. And I'm like, why can't I have them all even? And I started to pay attention to the length of my fingernails to determine where I was out of balance with the elements in my physical body. I had picked up a palmistry book from the 1800s or 1700s from the library. And I had read in it that each finger is an element. Haha, we're covering elements. The way that I do this is the left hand is the past. The right hand is the present. Your pinky is symbolic of your physical body, your physical health. Your ring finger is your emotions and emotional stability. Middle finger is your passion, career, self-confidence. Your first finger or index finger is your mind, your mental health and focus. The thumbs are spiritually attuned or connected with the unknown and with your guides and with the ether and energy. That's how that book broke down what the hands and the fingers all meant. And I started to apply this to my own hands, my own health. Is my nail clear or cloudy? Clear is healthy expression, healthy connection. Cloudy is that you are having some struggles, that maybe there's some confusion in that area. You might also have white indents, meaning that you've had a disruption in that area. Do you have ridges or dents in your nails? Ridges usually indicate anxiety or uncertainty for that area of your life. Vertical ridges are an indication that you're building consistency and that you're trying hard, whereas horizontal shows that you are having a rocky time finding stability, that maybe there's even other people that are causing problems for you. So if you have a hangnail on a finger, that means that you made a choice that negatively impacted that area of your life. So pretty much bad karma, right? You made a choice and now you are seeing that choice physically, feeling it physically in that area of your life through your finger. Your nail tips, when they are long, it means that you are finding wholeness and completion in that area. when a nail tip is short or chipped, it means that you are neglecting that area or aspect of yourself. And when I found myself biting my nails, I did notice that I would take some time and reflect on the thoughts that I was having when I was biting my nails. And I would notice that I was biting my index finger of my right hand when I was writing a paper in school, or when I'm working on my podcast, trying to figure out exactly what I want to say and how to say it. So your index finger was your mind, your brilliance and your mental state. When you are biting your nails and you recognize it, take a moment, stop, and just reflect on that moment. And you might notice that you are mirroring the confusion or the dysregulation in that area of your life in that moment. So take a moment and ask what you are thinking about. For example, maybe I'm biting my index finger and I'm doing the podcast episode right now, and I'm thinking up concepts and I'm nervous because now I'm bringing attention to the fact that I'm nervous and I'm biting it. Oh, I'm now biting my ring finger, which is my emotions. I'm not actually, you guys, but I'm just saying, Just notice which fingers you're biting and how they correlate with the different balance, the different areas of balance in your body. Biting your ring finger is you're emotionally overwhelmed. Biting your middle finger means you are falling behind in work or not feeling confident in your current position in life and finances. Biting your pinky would mean that you're ignoring a health problem, or maybe that you are having a health problem and you don't know what to do about it. Biting your thumb means that you're ignoring spiritual needs or spiritual signs that are coming through. I know this is a super odd way to keep track of your body's overall health, but I use my hands daily, and it has been an active reminder to me what my well-being is and how I can improve it. Because if I can notice where I'm falling short, if I can notice where I'm struggling, it gives me a leg up to be able to take steps in stabilizing my emotional health or stabilizing my financial wellness by not spending extra money. Or, if I'm feeling, overwhelmed, I can notice, oh my gosh, I'm feeling overwhelmed with this podcast episode. I'm going to put a pause. I'm going to step out of the room, go have a glass of water. I'll come back. I'll start recording again. It helps me regulate. And it's something that, you look at your hands all day, you're using your hands all day. It's something that helped me. Our bodies speak in so many different ways. Beyond our nails or our birthmarks or the attributes we talked about, let's consider the most basic way that our body communicates with us. Can you guys guess? It's pain. We all have had pain. We have all woken up with a stiff shoulder at some point, or that lingering tenderness in our low back. Maybe you jolted awake from a Charlie horse one night. This isn't your body just aging. It isn't your body's limitations. This is your body's way to say, help me, notice me, fix the problem, wake up. What can we learn from noticing our aches, pains, and sensations in our body? These pains can tell you so much about the patterns you are holding in stress, how you overuse certain parts of your body, or if you are experiencing right hip pain, consider how much you drive. Consider this. Modern cars no longer have a clutch pedal. You use your left foot for the clutch and your right foot for the gas and the brakes. Because our left foot is idle as we drive in modern days, our right foot is doing all the work. Gas, brake, gas, brake, gas, brake. The more you extend and flex the muscles in your right leg, the shorter those muscles become. It will begin to rotate your right hip to compensate for the shortening of the hamstring and the piriformis muscles and your gastrocnemius muscles in your calves. The tension in those muscles will pull the bones of your pelvis into a posterior tilt, causing low back pain, right hip pain, and right shoulder pain. Didn't know you could cause so much pain just by driving a little too much in your commute, did you? Well, now you do. So how are you going to listen to your body and make changes? Maybe you should find time during television time at night and just push your left foot back and forth like it's on a gas pedal, just to exercise that side. Sit in a chair and pretend your left foot is going down on the gas pedal and the brake pedal. Just give it 2 pedals to switch between. Every time you watch TV or if you're at your desk, just find a pedal, an imaginary pedal, and exercise those muscles in your left leg. Now, if you're not in the United States and you're using a different leg for driving, just switch. Just switch what I'm saying, okay? Let's think of another example here, how pain might be able to communicate with us. If you place your purse predominantly on your left shoulder, you will begin to develop muscular knots where your purse sits. Your shoulder has to flex up to keep the purse poised on your shoulder. If you relax your shoulder, the strap slips off. Over time, your neck muscles and upper back are going to twist to the right because they're getting tired. The shoulder muscle is tired and fatigued. So your body is going to compensate by tilting ever so slightly to the right to give you a bit of an angle. You keep that purse up. Over time, the pecs are going, your pecs and your lats, that's your pectoralis and your latissimus dorsi, are going to become tense and sore only on one side, because the side that is having to crunch to lift that left shoulder, that right side is crunching everything to lift that left shoulder, you're going to end up developing a little bit of a hunch if you're constantly twisting. So how do you fix that? Just alternate your purse to your right side for a little bit. Switch shoulders. You want to make sure you're balancing your body with these activities. If you normally brush your teeth with your right hand, try and alternate with your left hand. Give your body a little bit of counterbalancing. If you are developing a bunion on one foot, ask yourself, how is your walking pattern different? Go see a reflexologist or someone who does Feldenkrais body work, because they can reset your hips. They can make sure that you are balanced flat on your feet and not walking with a gait, which is a type of walking pattern. Maybe one side is walking on the edge of your foot, on the outside edge of your foot, and the other side is walking in where the arch is. Maybe there's muscles in your glutes or soleus that are causing your foot to rotate to the edge or even to the arc of your foot. Notice these messages your body sends. Don't immediately reach for aspirin or ibuprofen. Pain isn't designed to be ignored or masked or drugged. Pain pills don't cure pain. They put a pause button on the pain. They don't cure it. The issue is going to still be there when the pain meds wear off. Do your body a favor and listen to the pain. If you listen to the pain, You allow your body to speak, and you write down some notes like, oh my goodness, I didn't realize I was tipping to one side, or I didn't realize how tight that muscle over there was. I'm going to book a massage session for next week. But first I'm going to take an aspirin because I sure as heck can't last a whole week in this pain, But at least listen, figure out what the problem is. If your body is screaming at you, the very least you can do is listen. Okay? You got to ask, what is causing this pain? Notice where the pain is coming from. Touch the pain. Apply pressure to the pain. Is it a sharp pain? Is it a dull, achy pain? Is it a pain that comes and goes? Is it chronic? You should write these things down and try and notice how you go about your day to find the origin of this pain. Just stop ignoring it. Breathe sweet, oxygenated blood into these areas of pain. Let your heart pump the oxygenated blood into those areas and release the tension. Allow your body to do some of the work for you. That's just, as a massage therapist, that's what I tell my clients. I give them instructions on how to correct the pain patterns in their body. In shamanism, we're going to get back on track here. With shamanism, the most important practice of shamanism is that you recognize that all things and concepts are made of spirit, that they have consciousness, and when we choose to give our attention to them and honor them, we can develop a relationship with them. If you think about it, that's kind of what we've been talking about doing with our bodies, with listening to the pain, having a dialogue with your body, right? Now, there's a shaman that I follow. His name is Shaman Durek. Really remarkable man. I highly recommend you check him out if you are not familiar with him already. Recently, he had a Instagram live healing and was discussing with this woman how she could improve her financial security. And she stated that she didn't want to rely on money and that she wanted to do her work and not worry about money, but at the same time she needed money. And Shaman Durek brought her attention to the fact that she was pushing away a relationship with the spirit of money with this mindset. She had set herself up for failure in her business by vilifying a spirit of abundance and wealth instead of cultivating a healthy, working relationship with it. You can't hate money and need it. It's a paradox. So, what can you do? Shaman Durek instructed this woman to build a healthy relationship with the spirit of money. And this approach really got me thinking. If we can have a conversation with the spirit of money, can't we also have a conversation with our body, nervous system, emotions, and mind? Could asking questions and making basic respectful commands help bring us back into balance and harmony? I'm going to show you how Shaman Durek helped her. Maybe you can find your own way to adapt this concept and this approach to other areas of your life if it resonates with you, if it feels right to you. So he instructed her, speak to the spirit of money. So speak to any spirit. Money spirit, why are we struggling to have a good relationship? Listen to the answer in your heart. She was instructed to listen to the answer in her heart. After a time, she responded, she felt that if she had money, she couldn't be spiritual. She was asked to say, "Money spirit, please forgive me for pushing you away. What can I do to have a healthy relationship with you?" She was told she needed to know she was worthy of an energy exchange and that she was worthy of a great life and that the money spirit wanted to be in her life and wanted to bless her. Shaman Durek said, to say, "Money spirit, flow through me and bless my hands and my life. Money spirit, what can I do to honor you?" And she was told that she needed to welcome money with an open heart and mind. And I just thought it was a beautiful exchange. And I watched this healing, and I participated in this healing as if the healing were for me. And the following day, I got booked a couple session for $500 and another couple session for $450. And I swear to God, I haven't had big sales like this in one day in years. It has been years, and I really, really needed those sales due to a circumstance that has come up in my life recently. And I realized that although it may not have been 100% that particular healing interaction that I had with the money spirit and Shaman Durek, that I also realized there definitely was a shift in how I was interacting with money and how I could invite more into my life if I continued to try this practice over time. And I genuinely feel in my heart of hearts that when I did this practice that I felt a shift. And I did receive a huge blessing from the money spirit. I am so grateful to the money spirit for those blessings. And I'm grateful for those clients for trusting in me and for those awesome sessions we had. Shout out to my awesome clients. Thanks, guys. So I just thought that was such an interesting approach. Now, I personally believe that you can use this approach with your body, with your mind, your emotions. You can have this approach with your career or with a creative endeavor you're having. I was with a client the other day, and he came to me and wanted to have a spiritual session. He said, "Give me all you've got." And I asked him what his goals were so I would know what I was focusing on. "Give me all you got" is very vague and could end up kind of messy for anyone receiving it. He didn't really know at first what he wanted, and I asked him just to tell me a little bit about himself and what his struggles were and what he hoped to bring into his future. And he mentioned that he had depression and that he hadn't felt connected to his emotions for quite a long time. And my guides immediately began showing me that when someone has depression and develops apathy, it's because they've been rejecting their truth and their integrity for so long that the soul no longer feels welcome in the body. Can you believe that? That if you don't live in your truth, if you are rejecting pieces of yourself, if you are changing parts of yourself to make others happy, that eventually your soul won't feel welcome in its home anymore, which is your body. That it feels rejected, that it feels like, oh, well, you don't want me here anymore. At first, I didn't really know what to do with this information. So I invited him onto my table and I began listening to my crystals because they usually talk to me and they tell me how they can support the client and which crystal is needed for what. And so I set up a grid and I began to palpate his energy field. I use my hands and I can feel resistances and different temperatures, and I can see shapes and see different auras. And I was shown, as I was palpating his energy field, that in his early life, his father had shamed him for things that he was doing or saying. He was a little sensitive, and his father could not accept him in his purest form because his own child being authentic made him feel uncomfortable because he didn't feel he could be authentic himself. And the scene playing out, whether true or not, I usually just allow the scene to tell me the information it needs to tell me. And I allowed it to play out. And so this poor son began to change how he acted, thought, and felt just based on how his father treated him and reacted to him. Then when the boy went to school, he wanted to fit in. And he did things he wouldn't normally do. He teased other kids to be liked by his friends, or he cheated on his homework to make more time to horseplay. Over time, he changed his moral code, his views on friendship, and even how he viewed himself to fit in to other people's perceptions and expectations. This carried on into his relationships and into his work dynamics. And here he is, 35, 40-ish years old, and he has depression and feels lost because he doesn't know who he is anymore, because he's changed so much of who he is that he isn't himself anymore. So we decided to speak with his body and soul. I said, "Soul, you are perfect in your truest and most authentic expression of self. I am so sorry that others felt uncomfortable with your power and truth. You are safe to return to your true and authentic expression now. Soul, bring me into alignment with my truest, purest, and most authentic version of self. Amplify that into all my cells. Soul, I will live with integrity. Show me a sensation in my body for when I am not living my truth. Show me that sensation right now." Then I listened. Then he listened. I asked him, "Do you feel something?" He said, "Yes." I said, "Soul, program this sensation as a trigger for when I am not living authentically. Now, soul, return me to the vibration of my most authentic self." And when we did this together, he was given a system to know when he was breaking his own truth, when he was betraying himself. His body would trigger him whenever he compromised his values, his safety, or his truth. And we also showed him how the sensation of living in his truth truly felt. So, having this belief that all things hold spirit, that we can develop relationships and dialogue with them, can really empower you to find your own ailments and ask questions on the whys or hows, and to also find solutions for them as well. Of course, please continue to see your primary care physicians and other professionals to treat serious things, but this is a great way to get to know your own body and to listen to your intuition and see what wisdom your body can share with you about these problems that you are encountering with it. So, for the sake of being here, and you guys knowing that I have multiple sclerosis, I'm going to just do a demonstration. Body. How did I develop multiple sclerosis? Taking a deep breath in, and I'm listening. You took on others' suffering as your own under the belief that to love someone you must suffer yourself. You did not honor the feelings you felt and allowed others to demean them and make you feel that your emotions were wrong. Body, what do I need to heal multiple sclerosis? It is time to release the false belief. Clear the suffering from your mind, your heart, your body, and spirit. Know your worth. Live your truth and honor your love in all its expressions and forms. It's a good place to start. Mind. Release the belief that loving someone requires sacrifice. I'm going to wait till I feel something in my mind. Okay, I feel like a lifting happening. All right. Emotions. Release limitations of love in exchange for suffering or sacrifice. My shoulders are releasing tension. My back is correcting its posture. I'm feeling like a sharp pulling from my chest as my body is correcting its posture. And I felt like a really sharp release and then like warmth spreading into my chest. I feel like that finished. Emotions. Bring me into a state of unconditional love for others and myself. I'm going to listen to my body. And I'm getting like tingles everywhere. My chest is feeling warm and full. I'm feeling just like a wave of calm and tenderness, and peace flowing through my heart. Okay. Body. Amplify unconditional love to my nervous system, immune system, brain, spinal cord, and cells now. I feel like my skin is like expanding. I'm getting like super warm right now. Just gonna breathe into it And I have like weird waves like coming in through my skin. I'm yawning. Shaman Durek says that when you're yawning, you're burping, any kind of sounds coming out, like all of those are releases. So I'm wondering if I'm releasing as I yawn. All right. I'm going to take a nice deep breath in and just thank my body and my mind, and I'm just grateful that I'm able to play with this, to listen to my body, and that my body responds to me when I talk to it. I'm just grateful to have this experience and to return to this like playful state. I think it's really special to be able to do. This form of programming our body or having a dialogue with different systems of our body it was introduced to me by Shaman Durek. And I've had teachers who had similar healing methods, but usually they were directed at working with somebody's body part or their body or their muscle and not learning how to communicate with your own. So I find that this is a really easily digestible I find that this is an easily digestible way for new spiritual seekers to begin self-healing on themselves. Our voices have power. Our intentions have power. Our energy flows where our mind puts attention, and when we make commands of ourselves, we can shift how our energy flows in the body. I really hope you guys give this a try. Check out Shaman Durek's page. His Instagram has a bunch of healings and free tips and really, really great practices. And he does a lot of this kind of directed self-instruction, self-commanding work. And I've only recently started putting it into practice, and it has done wonders for me. So, shout out to Shaman Durek out there. The last practice I wanted to share today is along that same vein of that shamanic belief that all things have spirit. We are working in earth energies. So I want to encourage you to begin building a dialogue with the food and drinks you consume. Before you eat, sit for a moment and tune into your food. Smell the food. Smell the aroma. Notice its texture. What is the energy of the food you are about to eat? If you can't feel it, that's okay. But take a moment and think of how this food came to you. It started as a seed. And under the perfect conditions, maybe even the conditions were created by farmers, it grew. It was nurtured in sun and rain. It was trimmed and pruned until it became ripe. Someone had to harvest that food. Then someone had to transport it. Someone had to distribute it to the grocer. And someone had to stock it on a shelf. You may have bought it, but before you did, that food has experienced an entire life. It was born, raised, nurtured, sown, and now, as you consume it, its life passes to you. And all the energies of all the hands that raised it passes to you. Even with meat or grains, you have to consider how many people invested energy into working with the cattle, how many people had to use tractors and different type of plowing equipment. Consider the conditions the animal was raised in, the feelings it felt in its environment. Was it taken from its mother? Was it thrown into a group of animals that didn't have enough room to wander around? Was it inside? Was it outside? Before its last days, the culmination of its life is ingrained into the very fibers of its being, every single cell vibrating with the story of its life. It's really important. If you don't take time to consider that, try and take some time in the upcoming days to honor the journeys of both plants and animals that you take in. The water from the stream, or even the alchemical process of scientists mixing flavors and substances to make that soda you drink at the movie theaters. Considering all those factors, send appreciation and love into the food that is about to fuel the next 48 hours of your life. Each meal you consume gives your muscles energy and your brain the capacity to function. When you send gratitude into your food, you can heal any feelings of suffering from animals or plants by showing its spirit that its suffering was not in vain, that you appreciate the life that it had, that you understand that this isn't just a hamburger from McDonald's, that this hamburger from McDonald's, it has a bun. That bun was wheat at one point. It started as a little wheat seed and grew to be big stalks. Then it had to be cut down and milled and processed and put in a bag and then put into a hamburger. On those buns, you have sesame seeds. Those sesame seeds were once little seeds that grew into a plant that made more seeds, and now they're on the bun. That there was lettuce and tomato, and that ketchup once was a tomato. And that delicious, delicious patty, that nice ground beef patty, yeah, that was a cow at one point. And before that, it was a baby cow. Yeah. But maybe that baby cow was happy. Maybe it roamed the fields and ate grass and watched blue skies and enjoyed conversations with all its little cow brethren. Whether it was a happy cow or a sad cow doesn't really matter. The point is if that cow didn't come and sit on a plate in front of you in its McDonald's form, you wouldn't be getting energy for your next day. This meal wouldn't exist. You'd have to go out into the forest and shoot your own quail. I mean, really the convenience of having food handmade to you is going to make up for any time you would go out and have to hunt. Just take the time and thank your food, really. Take that time. Okay, pour unconditional love and appreciation into your food. Just do it for not even 5 minutes, 3 minutes. If you can just pour as much unconditional love into your food as you can. Then when you're ready, take a bite. I bet you will notice a difference. You might feel fuller. You might feel more revitalized. You might feel that the food has changed its taste or its texture. When you are working with earth, it is so important to honor the cycle of life and to be fully aware of its impact on us as human beings. So, thank you so much for joining Rainbows Rising today. Reach out to me if you have any questions about today's show, or if you would like to talk to me one-on-one about anything that you're curious about exploring in the earth element. You can reach out to me on Instagram at Rainbow Raja. Well, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week, and I will see you all next week when we ascend together. Have a good day. Bye. That on those buns you got sesame sesame seeds. Oh my God, sesame streets.
Hi, I'm Elmo. Welcome to Rainbows Rising. Hope you had a good time today. Remember to like and subscribe for more.
Are you ready to ascend to the next level? This is Rainbow Raja, your spirit guide calling. Please be sure to keep all arms and legs inside your vessel at all times. I'm just here to remind you to take some time today. Support Rainbows Rising podcast. Go. Join the Discord community. Check out the Patreon. Get some stickers. Custom tarot cards. Check out the merch. The merch. You know you want to. Go connect with Rainbow Raja. Maybe even get a session. Who knows? Your support helps make this show possible. And she loves to support you. Help support her too. Once again, this is Rainbow Raja, your spirit guide, guiding you to your ascension.